Hey everyone, welcome to this week's roundup of console gaming news, and here are the top stories. Jeff Grubb just dropped fresh details about the new God of War game. Another wave of Xbox titles is heading to PlayStation 5, and according to some PlayStation veterans, live service games are killing the platform. So, grab your favorite drink, make sure you're subscribed, and let's dive into the latest. According to journalist Tom Warren, Microsoft is planning to bring even more of its games to PlayStation 5 in 2025. Forza Horizon 5 and Indiana Jones, just the beginning. Warren analyzed the current trends and believes the next batch could include Starfield, Halo, remasters of Gears of War, Hellblade 2, the new Flight Simulator, and possibly the long-rumored Oblivion remake. Earlier leaks also hinted that Microsoft is gradually abandoning the exclusivity model, meaning eventually, most of their games could land on PlayStation. So yeah, even if Sony ends up dropping the ball this year and delivers no exclusives, we're not going to be short on games, because in 2025, Microsoft is about to shower us with their back catalog. While Microsoft is ready to share their games with PlayStation users, Sony not so much, even if Xbox ends up getting Steam support, which I mentioned in last week's video after a leaked UI screenshot showed a Steam tab that was quickly pulled down, but the internet remembers everything. Sony is reportedly planning to block their games from being playable through that platform. In short, they'll do whatever it takes to prevent Xbox players from accessing titles like God of War, Spider-Man, and more. To me, that feels way too aggressive and just wrong. What do you think? Drop your opinion in the comments. Here's the latest scoop from insider Jeff Grubb shared on the GameSpot podcast, and it's about the next God of War release. According to Grubb, this won't be a remake or a remaster, but a brand new story-driven spin-off starring Kratos. And most likely, it's going back to the Greek mythology setting. Originally, the plan was to announce the game during a special event celebrating the franchise's 20th anniversary, but for some unknown reason, that never happened. Grubb thinks the strategy may have shifted. He also mentioned that releasing a shorter God of War title is a smart move. It keeps fans engaged and helps fill gaps between Sony's major releases, which often take 5 to 7 years to develop. From what we've heard, this new game could be something like Infamous, First Light, or Uncharted, Lost Legacy. Roughly 5 hours of gameplay, but the goal here is to remind players of the legendary God of War franchise. Former PlayStation Studios boss Shawn Layden has finally opened up about why he left the company. Turns out, he stepped down because of Sony's new focus on live service games. Layden said he was always more passionate about single-player blockbusters, like God of War and Spider-Man, than chasing subscription models or service-based titles. Quote, "I just didn't have the energy or desire to lead PlayStation into the era of live service games." Another former studio head, Shuhei Yoshida, also criticized the shift, saying that if he were still in charge, he would have pushed hard against that approach. That said, Yoshida did clarify that Sony hasn't been cutting funding for single-player games. In fact, the company has increased its support for experimental projects. Just look at Returnal, Astro Bot's Expanded Universe, or the upcoming Death Stranding 2. So yes, live service is part of the mix now, but it's not replacing story-driven titles, and that's good to hear. Machinima Games has officially opened pre-orders for Indiana Jones on PlayStation 5. The game drops on April 17th, and you can already pre-order it through the PlayStation Store or at select retailers. There are 3 editions available. The base edition, priced at €80, similar to other big releases like Death Stranding 2 or Assassin's Creed Shadows. Then there's the Premium Edition, offering 2 days of early access plus a bundle of cosmetic items. And finally, for collectors, the massive physical collector's edition. This one includes a physical disc, a steel bookcase, and the centerpiece of the whole package, a themed globe, a must-have for hardcore fans. Bit of a bummer for those subscribed to the extra tier or higher. On April 15th, another major title will leave the catalog, and it's a big one, Disco Elysium. A truly immersive detective RPG, where you play as a washed-up alcoholic trying to solve a mystery while navigating a world full of moral dilemmas. If you haven't played it yet, now's your chance. Assassin's Creed Shadows had a very solid launch. Over 3 million players jumped in within the first 6 days. Ubisoft is now expecting 6 million by the end of April, a major comeback after years of sluggish sales. Meanwhile, Chinese tech giant Tencent has stepped in as a major investor, putting down €1.16 billion. Here's how it works. Tencent and Ubisoft created a new subsidiary. That company now holds key IP rights: Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot called it a new chapter, saying the company will now be more flexible and ambitious. Hopefully, this partnership leads to some creative shakeups and fresh vision for the future. In an interview with Game Radar Plus, the showrunner of the Last of Us series dropped a few hints about Season 2. Craig Mazin said they're not trying to just copy the Bill and Frank episode from Season 1, even though it was massively popular. Quote, "You can't just say, hey, that episode worked, let's do the same thing again. Everything has to evolve naturally." He teased a standout episode, directed by Neil Druckmann, that's emotional and unique, but definitely not a repeat. Personally, I didn't love the Bill and Frank story. I had to skip through a lot of it. It just didn't sit right with me. What about you? Let me know how you felt in the comments. Now this might actually be worth the $10 upgrade. The upcoming remaster of Days Gone for PS5 will include 6 new trophies, including a fight against an enhanced horde, 15-minute survival challenge, and collectible items tied to Deacon. Also confirmed, you'll be able to transfer your PS4 save to the remastered version. The release is set for April 25th, and if you already own the original or have it via PS Plus, the upgrade will cost just $10. But if you don't own the base game or PS Plus version, you'll need to pay full price. According to CD Projekt RED's financial report, and confirmed by CFO Piotr Nielubowicz, The Witcher 4 is not coming out before 2027. He clarified that this timeline is there to help manage investor expectations and offer a more realistic outlook. The report also revealed that 411 people are currently working on The Witcher 4, out of a total workforce of 707. Another 84 are assigned to the Cyberpunk sequel, other projects still under wraps. Given CD Projekt's history, don't be shocked if we're waiting until 2030. They do love to delay, fix, and patch a lot. The upcoming DLC for Lies of P, titled Overture, is shaping up to be a massive expansion. Game director Ji-Won Choi says the story content will take anywhere from 15 to 20 hours, if you're an experienced player. But if you're not exactly a Souls-like veteran, you're looking at 20 to 30 hours minimum. And that's not just padding. The DLC promises new mechanics, expanded lore, and a ton of ideas that were cut from the base game for various reasons, whether due to time, scope, or balancing. In short, this expansion is more than just a small add-on, it's basically a standalone game. So if you enjoyed the base experience, you're definitely in for a deep and content-rich follow-up. The DLC is expected to launch sometime this summer, and it's clear the devs poured serious effort into making it worth your time. Stay sharp, because this one's going to be a serious test for even the most seasoned Lies of P fans. If you've stepped away from Gran Turismo 7, now might be the time to jump back in. The latest seasonal update, part of the game's ongoing monthly support, brings several new additions. Aston Martin from 2018, Mazda CX-30 from 2021, Renault Kangoo from 2001. On top of that, there are fresh World Circuit events, Sunday Cup at Brand Hatch Indy, European Cup 600, Japanese FF Sports Car Cup at 451 More Cool Edition, version 2.1 of the Gran Turismo Sophie AI. You can now race against this upgraded AI in custom My Race mode, adding a fresh challenge for longtime players. It's not the biggest update ever, but definitely a solid reason to check back in. This past Wednesday, Sony announced the latest lineup of games for all 4 PlayStation Plus subscription tiers, and judging by early feedback, fans are pretty happy with what's coming. Here's what you're getting: RoboCop Rogue City, PS5 only, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, available on both PS4 and PS5, Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, PS4 only. A slightly odd mix, but a good one overall, and yes, they'll be added to your library on April 1st. No joke, even if it feels like one. Spring discounts have officially kicked off in the PlayStation Store, and the offers are worth checking out. Here are some highlights. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, 10% off for the Gold Edition, 5% off for the Standard. Alan Wake 2, Deluxe Edition now at a steep discount. Mortal Kombat 1, going for a price that's honestly crazy low. Spider-Man 2 finally gets a decent price cut, not a bad list, especially if you've been waiting for a reason to pick up one of these. So yeah, take a quick scroll through the store. You might find a hidden gem. Alright folks, that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. This was IT Wednesday, bringing you your favorite PlayStation news. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the episode, and make sure you're subscribed for more. See you in the next one.